Sawasdee. Magadang Gumaka. Good morning. My name is Chinchai from Thailand. I am a former technical advisor of Social Development, Ministry of Social Development and Human Security, and former regional president of International Council on Social Welfare, Southeast Asia and the Pacific. Now, I am a board member of Thailand Social Work Profession Council. First of all, I apologize for not being able to attend the FMU Asia and Pacific Conference, and I cannot be there to present in the parliamentary. On behalf of Thailand Social Work Profession Council, I would like to appreciate the FMU Asia Pacific in cooperation with the parties involved in the conference, especially thanks to the Philippine Association of Social Workers Incorporated as the main body and as the host country for the conference in Cebu, the Queen City of the South, and the oldest city and first capital of the Philippines, with 167 surrounding islands and islands. It looks really beautiful. Equitable and accountable resources, allocation and financing for SDG is very important, but in the field of social work, not much attention as it should be. I also remember when I learned the subject, community organization in social work, that aim to balance between problem and need mobilized with the necessary resources, including financing. So, what we need to be done in our field is to make financings to respond to the achievement of SDGs. Before the SDG 2016 to 2030 and Millennium Development Goal MDG the year 2015, United Nations held the World Summit for Social Development in the year 1995 that defined only 3 areas to achieve: poverty reduction and elimination, employment and promotion, and social integration. The Social Welfare Organization, International Federation of Social Workers, International Association of Schools of Social Work, and the International Council on Social Welfare have been always focused and contribute to driving such issues. Especially, ICSU has been working document on social development review, disseminating and driving the agenda of the World Summit for Social Development. In the year 2014, the Joint World Conference on Social Work, Education and Social Development in Melbourne, Australia, the Melbourne Declaration on the Promotion of Social Protection, which was an important issue in the SDG, was announced. And at the year 2016, Joint World Conference on Social Work, Education and Social Development in Seoul, South Korea. It has recommendation to set up the Global Fund for SDG. It's an impressive effort in social work and social welfare. The topics of equitable and accountable resources allocation and financing for SDG is very important and can be considered as one challenge in driving the SDG, especially the COVID-19 pandemic, global trade competition, the Ukraine war, and also Hamas and Israel war all has an impact on global society. While the unfairness of creating equitable and accountable resource allocation and financing for SDG, such as the levels of development of different countries. Many countries place importance on economic matter rather than social and environmental matter. Budget constraint, and some have problems with exploitation and lack of transparency in budget spending. However, the efforts of countries to respond to the SDG have improved, both in the terms of economic, social, and biosphere. Equitable and accountable resources allocation and financing for SDG is a shared responsibility among UN member states and the UN. In addition, many international cooperation frameworks are focused on that. The Thailand government has been focusing on achieving the United Nations SDG in all dimensions: economic, social, and environmental. These targets have been incorporated into the country key policy at all levels, including the 20-year National Strategy 2021-2037 and the 13th National Economic and Social Development Plan 2023-2027, and the strategic plans of all ministries in practice. The identifications of sustainable development goals must be part of the planning process in Thailand at all levels. The Ministry of Finance has overseen the policies to achieve the goals of sustainable development. The government has communicated all sectors, both at the national and global level, of its commitments to the country to achieve SDG, as its carbon neutrality target in the year 2050, and its net zero greenhouse gas emissions target in the year 2065. The business sector has prepared a guide to sustainable development goal for listed company and SDG impact standards. The guide will be an important tool to support the business sector to play a role in driving Thailand to achieve more potential sustainable development goals. SDG Index, the year 2023, has ranked Thailand as the 43rd place in the world. In Thailand, in order to carry out social protection, SDG Target 1 and Target 10 must increase the budget at least 0.5 to 1% of the GDP per year. The ASEAN Community building efforts is well documented in the preambles of ASEAN Community Vision 2025. We underline the complementarities of the United Nations 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. With ASEAN Community building effort to uplift the standard of living of our people, ASEAN and United Nations have set clear goals to reduce poverty and inequality, with countries in the region being committed to both development agendas. It is useful to recognize the synergy between both agendas, enabling for complementarity. This section builds on Thailand Review information paper metric compilation of possible complementarity between the ASEAN Socio-Cultural Committee Blueprint at the UN 2030 Agenda. The 5 components of ASEAN Socio-Cultural Committee Blueprint: engage and benefit, inclusive, resilient, sustainable, and dynamic. For inclusive, answer Target 1, no poverty, and Target 10 on reduce inequality. Resilient, answer Target 2, zero hungers, and sustainable, answer Target 5, life on land, etc. The United Nations has established the Sustainable Development Goal Fund, and OECD countries have maintained their stance on requiring members to spend at least 0.7% of GDP on official development assistance or ODA to help developing countries. Sadly, there is within the national financing, and ODA has been steadily decreasing. In the year 2019, only 6 countries met the long-standing UN target for an ODA rate of 0.7%. Indonesia and Thailand in our region were negative recipient, although their repayment of past ODA loans were higher than their new receipts. However, Goal 17 of SDG provide opportunity for participation from the second and third sector in achieving the SDG target. Of course, the second sector or business sector which cause environment impact is responsible for environmentally conscious production. In addition to focus on ESG, and CSR is also required to answer SDG more. Although the United Nations has strategy for finance the 2000 or 2030 agenda for sustainable development since the year 2018. It focuses on three objectives: to transform the financial system from global to local level, in support of 2030 agenda by addressing the barrier that constrain channeling finance towards sustainable development and relevance opportunity to increase investment in the SDG at scale. Aligning global economic policy and finance system with the 2030 agenda, enhancing sustainable development strategy and investments at regional and country level. Lastly, seizing the potentials of financial innovation, new technology and digitalization to provide equitable access to finance. According to the largest Secretary General remark to launch the special edition on the Sustainable Development Goal Progress Report in September this year in New York. In halfway of the deadline for the 2030 agenda, we are leaving more than half the world behind. The SDG Progress Report showed that just only 12% of Sustainable Development Goal targets are on track. Many development countries cannot invest in the SDG because they face a financial black hole. Before the pandemic, the annual SDG funding gap was $2.3 trillion. According to the OECD, the figure is now at least $4.2 trillion. And many development countries are barely under a mountain of debt. 1 in 3 countries around the world is the high risk of the fiscal crisis. The other country recovered from the pandemic by adopting expansionary fiscal and monetary policy and have largely returned to pre-pandemic growth path. But developing countries were unable to do so, in part because their currency would collapse. Vulnerable middle-income countries are denied debt relief and concessional financing. Turning to the financial market, they face interest rates up to 8 times higher than developed countries. Flow of official development assistance are far below the long-standing commitment of 0.7% of GDP. Last year, the International Monetary Fund allocated $650 billion in special drawing rights, the main global mechanism to boost the liquidity during crisis based on current quota. The countries of European Union received a total of $160 billion in SDRs, while African countries with 3 times the population received only $34 billion. And that was money created out of nothing. SDG stimulus and for deep reform in the international financial agriculture aim to scale up affordable long-term financing for all countries in need, but by at least $500 billion a year. It has been area for action. First, a massive surge in finance. Multilateral development bank should finance into the developing country that everyone take about nobody see. Second, tackle the high cost of debt through the new initiative in enable country in decrease to exchange short-term debt for long-term instrument at lower interest rate. Third, the report called for commitment for all countries to end the war on nature. Among other measures, it urged them to support the Acceleration Agenda for Climate Action and to deliver on the new global biodiversity framework. Fourth, it called on government to strengthen national institute and accountability. And fifth, it called for greater military support for the United Nations development system and decisive action at the year 2024 summit on the future. All of this is a challenge for social welfare organization and social workers to follow up and participate in driving such matter. I believe that if every country is fully driven by its development in all dimensions, in addition to being able to answer SDG, it can answer all questions that will happen in the future. And the resources in the world are sufficient if we help each other, if we join together and create a fair distribution system of resources, not concentrate or located at any one person or group. Conducive tax reform to finance are necessary, and extension of the contributory social security and surveillance scheme. During the rest of the halfway to the deadlines for the 2030 agenda and the results of this meeting, I hope that the role of social workers in driving equitable and accountable resource allocation and financial for SDG will be increased in the future. Finally, thank you for International Federation of Social Workers Asia Pacific and Philippine Association of Social Workers Incorporated again for having this conference and for this topic discussion. Selamat, sawasdee. Thank you.